We are live.
We live. All right. Once again, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Damn, wrong song. Just the two of us.
That's
We can make it. Yeah, I think so. I think it's just the two of us.
Yep.
We can make it.
I mean, it's still open, but
Yeah. The door's not shut, but
Yeah.
I'm like,
isn't it what 4 weeks now?
yeah, man. It's just we're gonna rock with it.
Yeah.
Like you said last time, man. The show must go on.
It's gotta go.
Got to do it. HWD back at you again. One more again.
Couple more.
We want to start out with let's do it like we always do, and then got some things to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's as we do. Our pre-shots.
One more. This is something I kind of all right. All right. Let's bag it back to the dude, right? That was
Dylan
kids. All right. So you know how they're saying like, and you said, hey, I'm all about second chances.
Yeah.
This will segue into our next thing because we are going to touch on the MCU for a second because obviously, but this came up earlier and I was like, hey man, how do you? All right. So you said I'm all about second chances.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think it's fair that how Ezra Miller got a second chance after some of the egregious shit that he went through? Right? We'll just leave it there. RDJ got his second chance in the MCU. I know that like a lot of his shit happened before he was ever Iron Man. But then when Jonathan Majors gets a misdemeanor account, that it was just like unforgivable, and then he was fired from it. But I was like, but after watching video footage of him like literally running down the street away from like who they said he was the aggressor on, I was like, oh, looks like she's chasing him down the street. Like I was just like, to me, I would be like, but we're now I don't get to see the end of Kang. Like I don't get to see Kang Dynasty.
So
now. Like I just thought that was like,
yeah, no.
where do you
second chances as far as that goes? So like I mean, you obviously already said like RDJ, most of his stuff was obviously drug related. And it happened before the MCU, right? Yep. So I can't remember the timeline, but I think I can't remember what he said his movie was that like turned his life around. But like he came back.
Mm-hmm.
I think as long as you're not doing that stuff like when he was doing the MCU, I've got no problem. Like I understand everybody's got a past. People make dumb decisions. You turned your life around.
Right.
You got it done. Ezra Miller, on the other hand, I feel like he'd been doing his shit.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And he was doing it well into him doing the Flash.
Yeah.
And stuff. So I think they were good to it was good for them to cut him off, but they brought him back. Are they bringing him back?
Oh, Ezra Miller?
Yeah.
No, I was more so saying like you already knew these things about him.
Well, see, the thing is, I didn't know anything about that until I heard about the current, like the one that happened why he was the Flash.
Well, yeah, and it was while they were doing Justice League, and I was like,
okay,
and I was just like, but then you gave him another movie after that.
Well, see, yeah, okay, that's the thing that So I heard about it when they were doing the Justice League, and then I was like, yeah, they should definitely fire him. Get him out of that role, and like bring in Grant from
the CW, which I thought
CW Flash, like bring him into Flash, and let him do it. But yeah, then I was like, oh, they gave him his own movie. Like, do we not know what this guy did?
Yeah, which was trash, by the way.
Like Disney, you get one little trouble thing with Disney, and you're gone.
Yeah, you got to be,
like.
Especially the money you're gonna be making with Disney.
Well, I mean, the deal with Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
like they cut him out of being Jack Sparrow.
You know what? And then
after the the whole defamation trial and all that stuff, they did try to they did come back okay, look, we could give you the part. He's like, no, I don't want it now.
You didn't even try to have my back.
Yeah,
any of this. You immediately took her side because she was the chick crying. When sometimes, spoiler alert, chicks could be crazy too, because women and men are people.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are just nuts. And that bitch was nuts. She shit on a pillow. She's nuts.
So
that bitch is cashews.
Now as far as with
Majors?
Yeah, Majors, I don't remember the whole details on it because I felt like by the time I heard about it, they were saying oh, it was false claims or something, and then I thought they were just going to continue with him being Kang.
Yeah, in a nutshell, what it was reports came out saying oh, he was in a domestic violence altercation.
Right.
They immediately put the halt on him being Kang.
Okay.
And then more things started coming out that it was just oh, well, he wasn't the aggressor. Oh, it wasn't. All right. They got into an argument in a limousine and he's the one that jumped out and ran away from her. And then they were in a nightclub or whatever. And apparently they got into it, but he ran away from her. There's footage of him
So she's a crazy bitch.
She was crazy. Okay. She was kind of nutty. And he's literally, I don't know how to say literally other than literally running down the street. They caught him in the little cameras that are on the streets. They caught him in multiple cameras running down the street away from her. And she's chasing him. And I was like, what the fuck is it? I was like, in what realm is oh, he's a predator. He's beating her ass. And I was like, while trying to run away? What is he, Reverse Flash? What is it? What? Ezra Miller. What is going on here? What upside down world? And I was like, if anything, I say, so y'all can't just walk it back and say, whoops, we might have jumped the gun on that.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think you'd have to put out some kind of appeal or that says you'd have to admit fault.
Oh, no.
And I don't think that they would want to admit fault.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if he didn't do it, great, fantastic. Why don't we bring him back?
Yeah,
and now the whole thing has changed. Everything in the MCU is now changing because of how they were going to go about it, and now because they don't have Jonathan Majors anymore, now they're switching it to something else.
And the reason I brought that up was because TMZ did an interview. I guess they caught him coming out of somewhere, and they were asking him about that.
Yeah,
they were like, "Hey, RDJ got this, and Ezra Miller did this. Why didn't they?" extend this. They were even though yours was a misdemeanor that ended up happening with you, yours was a misdemeanor, alleged count. Why? He was just he danced around it and was but he said he was I would love to play the character. He's I love that character.
He's it was he was bad about it, bad or anything.
And I don't know. I just thought I was just man, that's kind of, and this is me staying away from everything else, because I know a lot of people would want to be oh, it's because he's black. I'm I mean, maybe, but the thing is, I'm okay, but I'm looking at, you said, Johnny Depp, the same shit, and it was just like you said, I don't think they want to admit fault.
No,
they don't want to walk it back and say oh, maybe we had this wrong. Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, no, it's very rare. I won't say that it's never happened, but it's very rare for anybody with a big corporation or government or anybody that's just huge in nature to admit fault publicly.
Yeah, because they might be very public.
Right. They might be okay, look, behind the scenes, okay, look, we're really sorry. Here's a check for a certain amount of money.
But you also have to sign this so it's saying you can't talk about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, we admit that, it wasn't your fault or whatever it may be, but you can't talk about it publicly.
Facts. Yeah.
It's to me, that's horseshit. If you're wrong, I feel as a person that's, say with Disney, let's say it was just with Disney, I think it would be better as for me, it'd be okay, cool, Disney admitted they were wrong. they brought Johnny Depp back. I'm gonna go watch these movies now because they brought him back.
Yeah,
and they're big enough to admit that they were wrong. Cool, great. I'm glad.
Hey, and the thing is, like, Disney would also look better because they were saying, "Hey, we have a 0 tolerance for like domestic violence.
Yeah,
so you're out." But oh shit, we got this one wrong. We didn't have all the details. Mm-hmm. Hey, we're willing to bring you back. We're sorry. Like da 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 da. And it'd be up to that person to say like, hey, I don't want to do it anymore. Right. Like whatever. But like, I would look at Disney and be like, okay, well, at least as far as domestic violence goes, they have a 0 tolerance. I'm with that.
So
I'm with that.
In that sentence, would you prefer them to be proactive about it? So like, say they get a claim against somebody who is, involved in domestic violence. It's not proven yet, but it's just a claim. Mm-hmm. Would you rather them go ahead and be like, look, we're going to go ahead and cut all your projects from you right now, and we don't want anything to do with you, and then come back and apologize later? Or would you rather them be like, look, we are going to judge this based on the outcome?
I would say somewhere in the middle. I know that's kind of fence riding ass shit, and I know that isn't like what the answer that people like to hear. But I would say like what I would want to happen would be like, we're gonna press pause on everything. We're not gonna cut contracts. We're not gonna do any of that. But we're gonna press some pause button. I know this is gonna affect everything we got going.
Well, I was gonna say, like,
if you're a big enough,
if your production and all that kind of stuff comes to a halt, if you're saying like, pause, like, okay, well, all those days shooting and stuff, you got that's money lost.
It is, and I would say like, hey, we're gonna press pause on this for and then put X amount of time on it, and then I'd be like, I need to gather information to figure out like what's what to figure out what's right, and like I think 3 to 5 months would be enough time to like figure out, be like, oh, okay, maybe he did do this shit and he's trying to walk it back and trying to fit it, like, or he didn't do this shit, like, because that's how fast all of this shit happened. Like even with Johnny Depp, like that shit happened quick. It was like, nope, found out this bitch crazy. And like with Jonathan Majors, it was like, oh shit, like he found it. Oh, well, a month later, it was like, oh, well, here's the footage. Here's this. Here's this.
That's the thing. Like that's
like,
what I'm
figured
saying.
It out quick.
Like I heard about it at one point and was like, damn, another one. I was like, here we go again. Somebody else is caught in domestic violence. And I was like, but then it was like less than a month, or it may have been a month that went by. Like all of a sudden, then I heard nothing else about it. It was like I heard, oh, they were false claims. Like he wasn't actually doing anything to her. He was proven in the right. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. And that's the last I heard about it.
Did you see that motherfucker in Creed 3? Like if he domestically abused her, there's going to be some marks. That motherfucker was jacked in Creed 3. Fuck that.
No shit.
Fuck that. I ain't fighting him right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say like I want it to be kind of like in the middle, but I feel like the rules of law stand like you're innocent until proven guilty.
That's how it's
supposed to be. You're innocent until you're proven
guilty. Well, in the court of law.
Yeah,
so court of law. Technically, that's
so I kind of feel like if you're under contract with let's just say Disney or Marvel, whoever it may be, like I would say as the head executive, I'd be like, look, so we have this pile of allegations against you, or whatever it may be, this allegations against you. Mm-hmm. We're not going to allow you to participate in any future projects. We understand that you're on this current project.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Until the outcome, until we get more information about what's going on, whether these allegations are true. If they come to find out that it's not true, then you can proceed with further projects.
Well, yeah, more projects. Okay. Yeah.
If it turns out that they are true, then you will no longer be in future projects, and we may have to renegotiate your contract. Like something like that. Like I don't feel like you should just be cut immediately from the get go.
Yeah.
Like
it's like we don't even have all the information.
Yeah, like I feel like you need to have some information before you make a decision.
Yeah.
Because just like with Jonathan Majors, like now the MCU is having to redo what they were going to do.
And what are they gonna redo?
So
we still have a tad bit of time left.
Yeah,
we can squeeze it in. Fuck it.
So
come on.
So
we got two things to talk
instead
about.
of Avengers Kang Dynasty, which is what they was gonna do, they're now moving it to Avengers Doomsday.
And this would not be Doomsday from the DCEU, which is really dark.
Yeah. They are bringing in it's going to be the major villain is Doctor Doom.
Victor Von Doom. Interesting. Who's the actor that's playing that guy?
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. He takes.
It was a pretty good intro.
It was a good reveal because I was wondering. I was like, who the fuck's gonna play him? Like I knew it was gonna be a big name actor if the Russos were coming back to do this.
Okay, so here's my thing. Well, first I wanted to ask, like, what are your thoughts on it? Like,
my first initial thoughts were,
are you mad that he's coming back to play that? Do you find it as like an insult to Tony Stark's memory?
I don't find it an insult to his memory because I'd be like, they could have brought him back to play another Iron Man variant or like even do Superior Iron Man, which I wish they would have done because like that was an asshole version of like Iron Man.
Right.
That I would have been like, oh, I'm with that. Like that would be cool to see because like he ain't that friendly fucking, I guess, friendly Iron Man.
Yeah.
But him playing Victor Von Doom, I'm like, okay, I want to know for sure, is he going to play just a separate character or are they going to do like the Iron Man variant that ended up being Doom or where they did the body swap?
So I have
mind swap.
I have some like theories on it if you'd like to hear it.
I'm with it because I've been kind of diving into this because I'm.
So what I kind of have an idea with is and it kind of like agrees with like some other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Fantastic Four is going to be coming out at some point. It's like the next major project they're doing. I think they've already started filming it.
Very excited about that.
It's like the whole 60s.
And Vanessa Kirby.
Hobbs and Shaw, baby.
Anyway, I'm gonna let her climb this mountain. Remember that shit? He's like, I'm gonna let her climb this mountain. That's a fine white girl.
So it's like the whole like 60s vibe.
Yeah, but like a futuristic 60s.
Here's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I think that RDJ is going to be playing an actual Victor Von Doom. I don't think it's a Iron Man variant. I think it is actually Dr. Doom.
Okay.
I think that the whole Fantastic Four movie takes place in like roughly the 60s era.
Mm-hmm.
But since we're doing the whole multiverse thing, I think that Reed Richards finds some kind of way to travel between universes, like stumbles across it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think like him along with like Fantastic Four along with Victor Von Doom get transported into our current timeline.
Yeah.
And I think that's how Doctor Doom comes to where we at in our MCU.
I think it's going to be something like that. But I think it's actually going to be the opposite. I think Doom is going to find the way to get into our timeline by stealing the power of the Beyonder.
Okay.
And I think that's where he's going to do it because he did end up getting the power of one of the Beyonder.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if that's how he ends up doing this shit? And then like, because I mean, they kind of wrote in some of these incursions in which at the end of Multiverse of Madness, they were like kind of showing like, hey, this is like the problems that the incursions are causing. I think Doom's gonna come through and say like, all right, well, fuck all these like all these incursions that are happening. I'm just gonna start wiping some of these universes and taking pieces of them and then like meshing them together. Like he's probably gonna do I think that's what the Doomsday is.
Okay,
is him wiping out parts of universes, but like keeping like certain characters from those universes will survive. And I think that's where the mutants will come through from where, what was it? What's the name? Proton ended up at the end of the Marvels.
Yeah.
I think that's where that'll come from. Like a lot of these are going to start piecing together and then like, they're going to end up doing like their version of Battle World.
Okay.
But Doom's the big bad but the only way he can fight all of them is with the power of of a Beyonder, something.
Yeah, so I don't think that anybody from our timeline, like the current MCU timeline, is gonna like see Doom's face as Robert Downey Jr. Like I don't.
That's Stark.
I can't. Yeah, I can't imagine that with the Russos having directed and made Endgame and Infinity War, that they would want to like do to shit on like Iron Man's legacy, and then people would be like, "Oh, it's a Tony Stark variant." Like I don't think now he's a villain. Like I don't think that would be the case.
You think the mask will never come off then?
I think his disfigurement, because I mean that's kind of what it is.
Yeah,
I think his disfigurement will happen in the process of him getting to the timeline, and so when he gets here, he'll put on his Doctor Doom outfit. Yeah. And I don't think anybody will ever see his face after that.
And see, I
think it'll be just like the Fantastic Four will know who he is.
Yeah,
and they kind of spread the word.
That's what I was kind of telling my brother. I was just like, hey, I kind of think even if he does play I was like, because there have been multiple people that have in the MCU that have done multiple Marvel movies and played different people.
Yeah,
I was like, so I think he's just gonna play a different person. I was like, but the benefit of playing Doctor Doom is like, hey, like he doesn't necessarily have to take that mask off because Doom usually doesn't.
Yeah,
so I was like, he'll be behind that, but he's just the actor playing.
Yeah, that's my
Doom.
thing. That's what I kind of feel. I don't feel like they're gonna. I mean, I guess they could do an Iron Man variant because there is a comic book out there where Iron Man, Tony Stark, did take on the role as Doctor Doom, but then he ended up becoming something completely different.
Yeah,
but it's still a variant.
Yeah.
Of Iron Man. I don't think that's going to be the case this time, just because I don't think that I don't think MCU or Disney or any of that would like do that to the Iron Man legacy.
I do think one thing's going to happen with all this multiverse stuff and how they're trying to like funnel it, because at first it was like, hey, we're going nuts. Now I think they're trying to funnel it. I think they will in the last like Avengers movie bring in like a version of Iron Man or some sort. If not, then it's going to be Ironheart, because
I was
they've already put in.
Yeah, they're going to be. I mean, I think they're going to be doing the Ironheart.
But if they do a version of Tony Stark's Iron Man, it'll be from an alternate universe.
I mean, they can always do like the AI, or whatever, where it's kind of like a hologram that possesses the suit or whatever, and it is Iron Man, but it's just Tony's consciousness.
Or they could do the anti-hero that was Superior Iron Man, and they could do that and be like, hey, he's from an alternate universe. Everybody be like, oh, damn, this guy sucks. Like, it's nothing like the Tony we had. And then like when all this is over, all the universes go back to where they were.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about Tony Stark's Iron Man showing back up. He's gone. Like, it was a one-off. You got your fan service, cool. And now he still gets to play Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like, and he said, Tony.
He is Tony Stark.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He is Tony Stark, but Robert Downey Jr. just says he likes to play complex characters.
And Doom
is very complex.
He's probably one of the best. Yeah, like Marvel villains, because Marvel doesn't have like a whole lot of really in-depth villains. They just got a bunch of like powerful villains. If you think about it, like DC has all the best villains. Like, well, hold on, let me take that back. Batman has all the best villains. Like, Batman has all the best villains. They just so happen to be in DC. But like Marvel, they don't have like a bunch of like good villains. They have a bunch of like really in-depth, like good heroes. Their heroes are well written. Like think about Punisher. Like, Punisher's well written. That's a good anti-hero.
He just doesn't really have like he's like, who does he have to battle? You know what I'm saying? Like,
who, the Punisher?
Yeah, like
everyone. The world. It's a Marine, damn it.
It's like
it's battling PTSD right now. What do you mean? Shit.
So, but I mean, that's my thought. Like, I don't think he's going to be an Iron Man variant. I don't think that'll be the case.
I don't think so. And I also hope
I feel like I hope he isn't. I hope they don't do that.
Yeah,
because I feel like that would be kind of like messing with his. Yeah, I'm just like then there was like no point.
Yeah,
him dying.
Yeah, unless it was just like, oh well, you know, and I don't know. I don't think he would be the anchor being or whatever, because they brought in the anchor. So I was like, I don't think he would be the anchor being. And it was like, oh, now this universe is dying. I was like,
I'm glad that's a thing. Like even Kevin Feige said that. He said like,
I'm glad you're asking those questions.
Yeah, like I'm glad you're asking those questions. Like about as far as anchor beings and stuff like that. I'm glad that's kicking in and taking hold. Yeah. So speaking
of anchor beings,
we need to discuss what probably is one of the best movies.
Oh, look at that! We're in a Wolverine shirt
in the MCU.
Fuck you, Fox! I'm going to Disneyland. That had to be one of the best lines in the movie.
Deadpool Wolverine.
We did save the best for last because we danced around this for a minute.
That had me laughing from start to end.
The only time, this is how I described it to one of my friends who hadn't watched the movie yet, which took him forever. I don't understand how he didn't see it. I said the only time that I was not laughing hysterically in that movie is when they were trying to like have a serious moment and build plot to something. I said, which Ryan Reynolds still found a way to make that funny. Even at the climax of the movie, it was still. He leans back. Look at this motherfucker's abs, right?
Oh my
god. That movie had me fucking dying. The whole movie had me dying.
So let me ask you a question. We watched Deadpool and Wolverine like a day apart from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're clearly a big fan of the MCU and Marvel in general. Do you think that Deadpool Wolverine, is it now a top 5, a top 3? Is it your favorite out of the MCU? Does it officially beat everything out of the water now?
I will say I've heard a lot of damn. This is hard.
I know.
This is hard too, because like even out of Deadpool movies, people want to ask like, was it even the best Deadpool movie? I'm like, well, yeah. Like, yeah, it was. Like, I'm sorry. I know it was just it was cheesy. It was all the things that like, it's comic book movies, damn it. Like, it's supposed to be this way.
Well, I mean, it's Deadpool.
And it's Deadpool.
So like my thing is like, and I told you like this has been an ongoing thing since Deadpool.
Sorry, I gotta have some more of this.
No, you're good. Like since Deadpool Wolverine came out, like there's a podcast that I watch. I'm not gonna mention their name, but there's a podcast that I watch on TikTok. They do a lot of comic book stuff, and I like to listen to what they've got to say. And usually, I'm on board with what they've got to say.
Okay.
But when it comes to Deadpool Wolverine, one of the hosts of the podcast is like very, and I'll use a term that the kids understand nowadays. He says it's very mid.
Excuse me?
That's my fucking. Like, he's like, oh, it's a good movie. He's like, it's all over the place. It's not.
That's the point.
He's like, I wasn't laughing a lot. He's like, and they don't really have a whole lot of good plot and story built into it. He's like, I'm pretty sure like No Way Home and like Endgame and all that stuff. And he's like, Thor Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy are all better.
Okay, hold on. This is one thing you can't do. You can't compare apples to oranges. Because to me, all right, Guardians 3. Let's just say Guardians 3. That was a totally different movie. Didn't even have anything to do with, if anything, that was more of a standalone movie.
Okay.
Because it had nothing to do with how the multiverse saga was going, because that was already going by that point. Had nothing to do with it. Like all these other movies that you just named off, it was like, yeah, but it had. All right. For it to be a multiverse movie, because it was, but like Spider-Man No Way Home was a multiverse movie, but it was a Spider-Man movie first.
Right.
So they brought in like multiple Spider-Man, multiple villains and shit like that. And like it gave you closure on even the old Spider-Man movies, which was still really cool that like even the Andrew Garfield Peter Parker was still dealing with what's the name's death. Like and how he learned from it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't web her up like this because she'll fucking die. I could kill her. But like, all right. Anyways, that's besides the point. But this was a Deadpool multiverse movie. And you got everything out of that you should want or need. And they even addressed the fact of, hey, maybe we need to clean this multiverse shit up too. Because like only Deadpool could do that.
Right.
And address like, hey, maybe we need to clean this shit up. Like, it's just, isn't this a little tight? It's been miss after miss. Even saying like, hey, welcome to the MCU. Join it at a bit of a low point. Like, yeah, he addressed it because like even all of us know like,
it hasn't really been that great.
And the 3 movies that we're talking about have been the high points. Like the Spider-Man No Way Home and what's it called? The Guardians movie have been the high points until this came out.
Yeah.
Every other movie or series has been but the all right, Loki series was good. Very good. I think that was very good. But the rest of it is like
So when I first heard him say this, I was like what? Like it didn't make sense to me. But I was like, okay, so let me try to understand where he's coming from. He said Endgame was better than Deadpool Wolverine.
It was the same thing. It was putting all your toys together and
so the other co-host was like he put them on the same level. He was like, I think they're about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thought. In order to make Endgame good, or even Infinity War good, you had 10 years
of a buildup.
Mm-hmm. That's why it was good.
It was a payoff to everything.
It was the end game of 10 years worth of Marvel movies.
Even Infinity War and Endgame. Yeah. To mesh those
together.
Yeah. Which is about 4.5 hours.
Deadpool Wolverine. I'm not even including Deadpool 1 and 2 because they don't really tie into Deadpool Wolverine.
Nope. You could watch that by itself.
And would know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
That did it in one movie.
Yeah.
To be on the same level as Endgame.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Great, funny movie. Thought it was hilarious. Love the cast.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Deadpool Wolverine is funnier than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Well, way funnier. Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok. Great new spin to Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Still hold Deadpool higher than Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, even though the stakes... Well, no. The stakes were about the same in each because Hela would have fucking fucked up the entire universe.
Yeah.
If she would have stayed on Asgard any longer. But like, I was like, the stakes were still really high in that. I was like, but that was a build-up movie to bring in Infinity War.
Now.
So, I mean...
And as far as No Way Home...
I love Thor.
Yeah.
Clearly. But like, I love Thor, but like, nah, like...
Now, as far as No Way Home goes, I believe that if you take out all the nostalgia of that movie, you don't have a movie. Take away Tobey Maguire,
Andrew Garfield, Doc Ock,
Green Goblin. What do you have? You have Strange and Tom Holland.
Yeah, that made a, I guess you can call a wish or a magic that went wrong, opened up holes.
Is that now you're good? Is that a good plot and good story for you?
No,
be a good movie.
But you know what it was? It was a build-up movie. It was, there's multiverse, and then what it go into multiverse of madness.
Yeah. So like, I feel like I think you said it great. Like you're comparing apples to oranges. Like any of these movies that were previously in the MCU that did really well, there was a whole years of long buildup that made it good.
Cannot made compare it great. To Infinity War and Endgame should stand by themselves. Because that's like saying like, oh well, is the next I mean, I guess you could compare the Avengers Doomsday and whatever Secret Wars to the other one, to the other like Infinity War Endgame, because like that's like, hey, which amalgamation of like story build up to bam, big
look, I mean,
movie.
You can throw in Avengers 1 and Avengers Age of Ultron with Infinity War and Endgame, and now tell me to compare those.
No.
Those 4 movies.
Yeah.
Because those all represent the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a culmination of heroes coming together.
With some sort of build up first.
Yeah. Like you had movies building up to Avengers. You had movies building up to Age of Ultron. Same thing with Infinity War and Endgame.
Yep.
So that's why I would take those 4 movies out by themselves and be like, now compare it to the rest of the MCU. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah. That doesn't.
To me, Deadpool and Wolverine right now is literally probably the top of my list.
I would say to do
I don't think I've laughed that hard on a Marvel movie the entire way through.
And you say laugh that hard, but then it's even having covered so much with like no build up.
Yeah.
Like there was only one build up movie technically, and it was Logan.
Yeah.
Because the start of it was through in every Deadpool movie, he does mention Wolverine.
Yeah.
He has mentioned him in every movie. And like he said in the movie, he was like, hell, you were the X-Man.
Yeah.
Like that's why he mentioned him the way he did. And then with the opening of the movie starting the way it did, that was the lead in. And that's why like X-23 which I thought would have been a bigger part of that movie.
Yeah.
But it made sense that it was more about Wolverine and Deadpool.
Yeah.
But like that was the only lead up, was that movie to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Exactly.
And they still crushed it. And then said, you know what? Half the people going to see this movie have probably never even watched Blade.
No.
There was no Gambit movie ever made.
No, but I bet they want one now.
Now they do, I'm sure, because like it fell into production hell and never got out of it. And the movie never got made, because I remember hearing that Channing Tatum was supposed to play Gambit,
right?
But they never made the movie. They brought in the Elektra. They made mentions of Matt Murdock. Like Ben Affleck's version of that. And she's like, it's fine. Like, he's dead. It's fine. Like, they brought in all these references that it was like, oh, okay. Like, but that was your build up.
Yeah.
Was 20 years ago. If you think about it. Mm-hmm. Like, they did so much more with less.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like,
crushed that movie.
And people
crushed it.
People were talking about, like, some people were talking about, like, oh, well, you know, the story's kind of blah and it's kind of all over the place. And it's like, have you never read a Deadpool comic book?
Right.
It is all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
There is a story there. It may not be one of the best stories, but it is a story there. And it is all over. That's Deadpool's signature.
He's insane.
Like he makes it crazy.
Have they not figured out that one, they got the perfect person to play Deadpool?
Yeah.
And then two, if you read any of his comics, I mean, hell, play his video game.
Oh, for sure.
Part of the thing
of that, which is blowing up, by the way.
Yes. part of the thing they always wondered, like, hey, why come Deadpool can break the fourth wall? And it's as simple as this: he is insane.
Yeah, I don't think that he actually can break the fourth wall. I think that he's just mentally insane.
Yes.
But he is breaking the fourth wall.
But he is also breaking the fourth wall because he knows he's in a video game, a movie, a comic book, or whatever he's in, and he will mention things that are going on in our real world, but he doesn't actually know that he's doing that. He's just insane.
Yeah.
That's why even if you watch like this last Deadpool movie, right? At any point that it was getting serious, could he ever take it seriously? He couldn't. They were trying to literally save their multiverse, and he's like, "I'm gonna look at these abs right quick." Or even when
even him just closing the door on Wolverine. He's just like, Marvel genius.
Yeah.
Marvel Jesus.
Oh, and when he was even when Wolverine said the shit that probably cut him the deepest in the fucking van, he was like, "I'm gonna fight you now," and they fucking fought in that thing until I was like, he still didn't take it seriously.
Yeah,
because he's fucking insane. It's just is what he is. That's what he is. So no, I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why people are trying to make sense of this too much, but what more do you want? Well, he made a perfect movie. It was a perfect.
Let's put it this way: the first two Deadpool movies, okay, if you talk about plot and story wise, the first one was literally the origin story. Mm-hmm. But even that, was a very simple story. He's trying to,
and they changed.
He's trying to find the guy that fucked his face up, and made him look the way he is.
Just so he could get his girlfriend back.
That's it.
Because he didn't feel like he was worthy enough.
Nothing on a cosmic or hero saving world kind of thing. Just simple, kind of revenge, get my girl back kind of thing.
Yep.
And then in the second one, I mean, what's really the whole story? It's to stop Homeboy from becoming a supervillain in the future.
Which halfway through the movie, he didn't give a fuck about. He just wanted to fucking die.
But y'all are telling me that those movies are better than possibly Deadpool Wolverine?
No.
I
mean, 2 did have Cable in it, and then it had baby balls, which was hilarious. He's doing his basic instinct. It was very hilarious. I was like,
but this is just signature Deadpool. This is what you would expect from a Deadpool comic book or movie.
Yes.
I have no complaints.
They nailed it again.
Yeah.
He did NSYNC on the fucking opening. What? I told you he was insane.
I told you that has to be one of the greatest intros I have ever seen.
No, you said not one of. You said it is the greatest intro I've ever seen to a movie.
And it's all I could ever think about.
I don't know what. Yeah, it was just
I'd be dying.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody who just complains about this movie is just somebody who just wants to complain, in my opinion.
You don't like puppies. You don't like life. You want to be miserable. If you didn't enjoy that movie,
go watch Green Lantern. Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah. If you want to be miserable, yeah, go watch his Miss. Go watch. You know what? Go watch The Proposal. Go watch The Proposal.
I could soft touch the fourth wall too.
The Proposal. That was great. That was fucking great.
He said, the fuck was that? Bitch, I don't do that.
I don't fucking do that.
Oh my God. You know, they said the F word 118 times in that movie.
I'm so glad they did.
I think they said the next movie that says that many F words is Guardians of the Galaxy. It was 3.
Yeah, I think they only said, in Disney?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they said it once. When what's the name? When Peter was telling what's her name? He's like, then open the fucking door. She was trying to do it in Guardians 3. She was like, okay, the little thing lever lifted up. What do I do now? He said, open the fucking door.
You know what's crazy? I still have not seen that movie.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, it's really good. It really is.
Is it really good?
Yeah.
I haven't really watched it.
Yeah, I watched it with the girls, man.
Man, really I've been so turned off by Marvel movies for a little while now, just because after I watched
was it Love and Thunder?
Honestly,
I like Thor movies.
Probably Love and Thunder was probably one of the reasons. That
the Marvels killed it.
Marvel
killed it for me. I was oh fuck this.
I can tell you this, as a Marvel fan, or and I'm not talking about Marvel as in Captain Marvel, as in Marvel general comic books, I like these movies but like I'm like, ugh. Like there's like I can see the decline. Even like She-Hulk, I was just like, ugh. I was like super excited when like Moon Knight came out,
and it was actually
and
pretty good.
Like, oh, this is pretty good. And I was like, I also watched Loki, and I was like, this is really good too. Like, are we about to get some really cool TV shows? Like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
cool. I'm down for this. And She-Hulk came out, and I'm like, you're twerking with Cardi B on what?
I watched one episode, and I was like, this is stupid.
The coolest episode they had was when they brought Daredevil in.
I watched one episode. I could not get through it. I couldn't. I was like, this is trash. Like Secret Invasion almost killed it for me too.
I haven't watched it.
It wasn't really all that good. It was okay.
I haven't even seen Loki season 2.
Loki season 2 is good.
You know what? I'm gonna start a controversial thing that I enjoyed Eternals.
I enjoyed that better than most of these other TV shows.
Just because it's like it's one of those things where like people don't know too much about it. Oh, I thought they did an okay job. Like,
yeah,
could it have been better? Sure,
yeah,
absolutely. But I thought it was like good for like introducing the Eternals. Like, I'm down. Love to see the Black Knight come out.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. So,
need to get this Blade movie going.
Yeah, I mean, if they're making a comeback, I hope it. I think their problem was they found a high and decided to pump all this stuff out as quickly as they could for cash grabs. But the problem is your quality went down, especially in the CGI department. Like you're a multi-billion-dollar company, and
they were cutting corners.
You were telling me you can't make a better She-Hulk than what you made.
Yeah, it looked pretty trash.
Yeah. Second of all, like your scripts and just like the quality of your shows in general with the acting is just not that great, in my opinion. It could have been so much better. Like if I have to wait a year for something to come out, that's fine.
I waited this long for Deadpool and Wolverine, and I was not let down.
No.
Yeah.
But like Love and Thunder, like would have been a great movie.
To me, you know what fucked that up? Them trying to be too funny with Thor, and they fucked up Gore the God Butcher.
First of all,
he butched no gods.
he butched one god, the first god.
That's it.
That one that first turned him into
he turned into Gore the Kidnapper.
Yeah,
all I did was kidnap some kids and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna use your bait so I can get this fucking axe." Okay, cool.
No Way Home was good because of like nostalgia reasons.
That was probably the best. I was the most hyped for, I want to say, Multiverse of Madness, and that let me down because there was no multiverse in it. They went to a multiverse. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
and they got to see some other variants of other people, and then they fought other cuckoo Doctor Strange, and then that was it. I was like, cool. I was waiting for like Mephisto or something. I was waiting for something cooler than
something really cool.
It just wasn't.
I feel like that was a straight miss on.
It was Mom of Madness.
Yeah,
it was. I'm
pissed off. I want my kids.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna take it from anywhere I can get it.
Yeah.
That which was crazy because WandaVision was really good.
Yeah, it was.
Like I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It was different, but it was good.
Yeah.
One, I am excited for Agatha. Have you seen the trailer for that?
I did. It's shot like horror. Shot like almost a horror movie.
Yeah, that actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they make it pretty good, cool.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see the little horror side of Marvel. It'd be kind of nice. But yeah, like the quality's gone down. So hopefully with Deadpool Wolverine, which is pretty much the start of it, hopefully their quality will.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Deadpool will ever be part of the Avengers movie?
Oh, he's gonna be in the. Yeah, he's got to be in the next two, or one of the next two movies.
I just don't know if they're gonna be able to do it. Because I feel like if
they got to,
I feel like if you put Deadpool in it, you're gonna have to make the movie rated R.
Huh?
But it's an Avengers movie,
so
now you're telling kids they can't watch the Avengers movie.
Yep.
He's like, yup.
And you want to know what? It's still gonna make over $1 billion because people are still gonna go see Ryan Reynolds be fucking Deadpool.
I don't think that they'll have him in an actual Avengers movie.
Even if they did, you know what they would do? He would be like, "Look, y'all gotta let me address this shit as Deadpool."
Yeah, no, like I think,
and it would be hilarious.
I think
he'd be like, really, no blood and guts. I can't cut anybody. He was like, Feige's really gonna let me do it. Like, yeah, they would.
That's totally that's my thing. Like,
yeah, they would lean
if they're gonna do an Avengers movie, like now, are you allowing the Avengers to start killing?
Depend on what they're fighting, because if it's one of the next Avengers movies, they're fighting Doom bots.
Okay,
think about that. That's all they're doing is fighting Doom bots. So yeah, they could put them in it. They'll put some cussing into it, but like then when he cusses, they could. What they could do is do a brilliant thing and like bleep it, and then he'd be like, "Really? I can't say," and just like start bleeping everything. And he'd be like, "Really? Oh, we're gonna test that guy. We're gonna put that guy to work." And like whoever the guy is, hit the button for the bleep. Like they could just address that shit, make it funny like that, and that would be hilarious.
Because I mean, they're PG-13.
Yeah,
the Avengers movies. So I mean, you're one step off the rating.
Yeah,
system, but. I just don't figure. I don't think they would put Deadpool in an Avengers movie, because they're not going to make Avengers rated R. That's just not going to happen.
Doubtful, very doubtful.
Because you got Captain America, the Hulk, all these kind of things. Like kids want to go watch these movies, they're not going to make it rated R.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man's going to be in it. Like, so if you do that would be hilarious. The way you put it in there, like.
Yeah,
he goes in there to say fuck and he gets bleeped. And he's like, I can't say, and he gets bleeped again. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like,
is it anybody hearing this? Hearing what? Yeah, like
that would be
hilarious.
Yeah,
it'd be funny because that would be a very Deadpool thing.
Yeah,
to do. So yeah,
then that would get him like introduced into Spider-Man.
Oh,
and then you got Deadpool, Spider-Man. Oh,
yeah,
that's a duo I need. I
really don't see the resemblance. Like everybody says I look like you. I really don't see the resemblance.
What I would really prefer is like him to be with Andrew Garfield though.
That would be funny.
That I feel like would be a way better combination.
Yeah.
So, but I enjoy Deadpool. Deadpool Wolverine. And I really want a Gambit movie now.
Understatement.
Or at least Gambit in the X-Men.
Yeah.
And you know what's bad is like even like people with that Cajun accent, like people with Cajun accents and stuff are like, yeah, it's pretty fucking spot on.
Yeah, it was
like there was nobody's complaining like about his Cajun accent.
Mm-hmm.
What was your dialect, coach?
Dude, every time he was getting on Gambit had me fucking dying.
Yeah, he said, and who is this? Constant reminder of own inadequacies.
Dude, he was killing Gambit's ass. Like every time he started talking, he was like, "Look, I don't even know what he's saying right now. I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark and just think that this is what he meant." I was like, "Oh my god!" He was firing him up the whole movie. I was like, "God damn!"
Oh man, I've been waiting to talk about that though. I knew he was gonna do it like last week, but I'm glad we got another week.
We needed some time to kind of talk about it.
Let people get. I'm starting to see way more posts about it and all that.
Motherfuckers have full blown spoiled all of that movie. Like if you ain't seen it by now, then
even though like I did have like one thing spoiled for me before I went, and that was like the Elektra and Blade.
Yeah,
I didn't see Gambit, which was crazy.
Yeah, I had a little bit of things spoiled for me, but like some of the big like funny parts, like none of that was spoiled for me. Thank God.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, so-and-so's in the movie. Motherfucker, why did you tell me the Calverine was in it? That pissed me off. But like, I was like, I would have liked to have seen that without knowing it was coming. But Blade, I was like, oh, that was just... I didn't know I needed that. I didn't know I needed Gambit. Channing Tatum of all people.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that. I don't like you. You never really did.
Yeah. So you never really did.
Which Wesley Snipes went on an interview and told people like he's like there's always a thing about like we not liking each other. He's like, but it's just he's like it wasn't really the fact. Like he's like I didn't not like him.
Yeah, it's just that they had a couple of disagreements that were on set, but that was it.
He's like, yeah, we didn't talk for a while. He's like, but it had nothing to do with the fact that I didn't like him or anything. He's like, you know, when I found out he was trying to give me a call, he's like, I answered immediately.
Yeah. He was even like, I didn't think they would let us do this.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, if they let him, you know, they allow it to happen, then I'm in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're shooting a movie day in, day out, you know, and you're trying to get things right and stuff like that, I'm sure like tension can be a factor here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Cause people to get into arguments.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to get it and you're trying to get something right, and like you may have a difference on like the vision.
Yeah, I mean, because the Blade movies were never like really meant to be like comical.
No,
I mean, like Blade had some like nice little quippy lines that he would say, but
yeah, but they weren't meant.
He was like so serious when he said them.
Yeah,
like, but I feel like with Blade Trinity, because they brought in Ryan Reynolds, I think they tried to apply some of that comedy.
Yeah.
To it, and I'm sure that Wesley Snipes was like, "No, I'm not really. It's not really my thing."
Yeah.
You know. So I can see where that'd be a problem.
Pretty good movies.
They're pretty good. I mean,
the second one's CGI sucked, but like the third one,
third one wasn't bad. It just
was what it was.
Blade one was just way better than all three.
It was the best one.
Yeah. The best thing I can tell you about Blade Trinity is with freaking Blade caught the baby, was like Gucci goo.
I like that when Dracula learned what was it, motherfucker? He was like, oh, motherfucker. I like that word. I was just like, okay.
Apparently they weren't saying it back in the day.
Yeah, right. I guess that wasn't a thing.
All right. I mean, that's really all I had for today.
That's all I got.
So we're gonna cut it here today. As usual, and as we said before at the beginning, don't forget to ask a fellow brother or sister how they're doing. Check on someone. Never know what they're going through.
Always. It's up to us to look out for us, man. So yeah, send a text message, call, email, doesn't matter what it is. Reach out to somebody and check on somebody, because you never know what the person next to you, behind you, in front of you, around you is going through. So always look out for your fellow humans.
Absolutely. And I got some Blackberry mead. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll see you guys next week.
Hey, y'all. Peace, y'all.